The galactic stage. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, humanity's first steps into the galactic community were met with a mixture of curiosity and dismissal. The year was 2157, and Earth had just launched its maiden interstellar voyage, the Starship Horizon, propelled by a revolutionary fusion drive that allowed it to achieve a fraction of light speed. As the Horizon approached Alpha Centauri, carrying a crew of Earth's finest scientists and diplomats, the galaxy watched with mild interest. The Galactic Council, an assembly of the most advanced alien civilizations, had long been aware of humanity's existence. They had observed Earth's progress from afar, cataloging humanity as yet another emerging species in the cosmic tapestry. But to the Council's elder races, humans were barely more than cosmic infants, their technology primitive, and their potential unremarkable. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Horizon, her heart racing with excitement and trepidation. As Earth's emissary, she carried the hopes and dreams of billions. The ship's sensors detected an incoming transmission, and suddenly, the view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of an alien being. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice translated by the ship's advanced AI. "I am Zorax, representative of the Galactic Council. We welcome you to the interstellar community." Elena straightened her uniform and responded with practiced diplomacy. "On behalf of Earth and all of humanity, we are honored to make your acquaintance, Zorax. We come in peace and with hopes of mutual understanding and cooperation." Zorax's expression, though alien, seemed to betray a hint of amusement. "Your sentiments are noted, Captain Rodriguez. The Council has prepared a reception for your arrival. Please follow the provided coordinates." As the Horizon approached the designated location, the crew gasped in awe. A massive space station, easily dwarfing anything humanity had ever constructed, loomed before them. Its sleek, organic design spoke of technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities. Upon docking, Elena led her team through the station's cavernous halls. Aliens of various shapes and sizes bustled about, some barely sparing a glance for the newcomers. The humans felt like children in a world of giants, their own achievements suddenly seeming insignificant in comparison. The council chamber was a grand amphitheater, with representatives from dozens of species seated in concentric rings. Elena and her team were ushered to a small podium at the center, feeling the weight of countless alien gazes upon them. Zorax, now revealed to be a tall, slender being with iridescent skin, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we gather today to formally recognize the arrival of humanity on the galactic stage. Though they are but newcomers, we shall extend to them the customary courtesies." A murmur rippled through the chamber, a mix of curiosity and dismissal. Elena sensed that many of the aliens viewed this as little more than a formality, a bureaucratic checkbox to be ticked off. Taking a deep breath, Elena stepped forward. "Honorable members of the Council, we come before you with open minds and eager hearts. Humanity has long dreamed of this moment, of contact with other intelligent life. We offer our friendship, our unique perspective, and our unwavering spirit of exploration." Her words were met with polite nods, but Elena could see that few were truly impressed. One council member, a being that seemed to be composed entirely of swirling energy, spoke up. "Your species is young, humans. You have much to learn before you can truly contribute to galactic affairs. We suggest you focus on developing your own world further before attempting to engage on a larger scale." Elena felt a flicker of indignation, but maintained her composure. "With all due respect, while we may be young, we believe we have much to offer. Humanity has overcome great challenges in its history, and our adaptability and creativity have allowed us to progress rapidly." Another council member, a massive reptilian creature, let out a sound that might have been a chuckle. "Adaptability and creativity. Tell me, human, have you mastered faster than light travel? Have you terraformed barren worlds or harnessed the power of stars?" Elena hesitated, knowing full well that humanity had achieved none of these feats. "No, we have not. But given time and the opportunity to learn, we believe we can contribute meaningfully to the galactic community. Zorax raised a hand, silencing the chamber. The human delegation will be granted observer status within the Council. They may establish an embassy on this station and engage in cultural and scientific exchanges, as is standard for newly contacted species. This meeting is adjourned. As the aliens filed out of the chamber, Alina and her team were left feeling both exhilarated and deflated. They had made first contact, yes, but it was clear that humanity was viewed as little more than a curiosity, a primitive species barely worth notice. In the weeks that followed, the human delegation worked tirelessly to establish their embassy and initiate exchanges with other races. They marveled at the advanced technology surrounding them, from matter replicators to holographic communications that spanned light years instantaneously. Yet at every turn, they were reminded of their own limitations. Alina sat in her office, poring over reports and cultural briefings, when her aide, Dr. Marcus Chen, entered with a concerned expression. "Captain, I've been analyzing the data we've gathered on galactic politics and economics," Marcus said, his voice low. "It's not encouraging. Most of the advanced races see us as little more than a potential market for their goods or a source of raw materials. They don't expect us to be players on the galactic stage for centuries, if ever." Elena leaned back in her chair, feeling the weight of humanity's position. "We can't let their perceptions define us, Marcus. We've overcome doubters before. Remember, barely 2 centuries ago, we were still burning fossil fuels and fighting amongst ourselves. Look how far we've come." Marcus nodded, a small smile forming. "You're right, of course. It's just the scale of it all. It's overwhelming." "That it is," Alina agreed. "But we're here now, and we're not going anywhere. We'll show them what humanity is capable of, even if it takes generations." As they spoke, neither Alina nor Marcus could have imagined the cataclysmic events that were about to unfold. Events that would shake the very foundations of galactic society and thrust humanity into a role no one, least of all the dismissive Galactic Council, could have predicted. Little did they know, far beyond the gleaming spires of the Council station, in the depths of uncharted space, a threat was stirring. A threat that would soon test the mettle of every species in the galaxy and reveal the true strength of humanity's spirit. The unforeseen threat. 6 months had passed since humanity's introduction to the galactic community. The initial excitement had faded, replaced by the day-to-day realities of being a minor player on an impossibly vast stage. Captain Alina Rodriguez and her team had settled into their roles at the human embassy, working tirelessly to forge connections and gather knowledge. On a quiet morning, as Alina reviewed the latest cultural exchange reports, an urgent message flashed across her terminal. It was from Zorax, the Galactic Council representative who had first greeted humanity. "Captain Rodriguez, your presence is required immediately in the Council chambers. A matter of utmost importance has arisen." Intrigued and slightly alarmed, Alina made her way to the grand amphitheater. As she entered, she was struck by the palpable tension in the air. The normally composed alien delegates were in a state of barely contained panic. Zorax, his iridescent skin dimmed with stress, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues, we face an unprecedented crisis. A highly aggressive and adaptive pathogen has been detected in the Outer Rim. It has already decimated several colonies and is spreading at an alarming rate." Holographic displays flickered to life, showing scenes of devastation. Alina watched in horror as entire cities were shown abandoned, their inhabitants struck down by some unseen force. The images shifted to microscopic views of a bizarre, ever-changing organism that seemed to defy classification. "This pathogen, which we have designated as the Omega strain, appears to be able to infect any known form of life," Zorax continued. "It adapts rapidly to overcome any defense or treatment we devise. Multiple quarantine attempts have failed." The energy being that had dismissed humanity months ago spoke up, its voice crackling with fear. "Our most advanced medical eyes are unable to predict its mutations. It's as if this thing is alive and thinking. always one step ahead of us. Elena listened, her mind racing. She thought of Earth's long history of battling diseases, of the pandemics that had shaped human society. "Have you tried combining biological and technological approaches?" she asked, almost without thinking. The chamber fell silent, all eyes turning to her. Zorax blinked slowly. "Explain, Captain Rodriguez." Swallowing hard, Elena continued. "In our history, we've faced numerous pandemics. We've learned that sometimes the most effective solutions come from unexpected places. Have you considered using nanotechnology in conjunction with biological agents to combat this pathogen?" The reptilian counselor, who had mocked humanity's achievements, let out a bark of laughter. "You propose to solve a crisis that has confounded our greatest minds with your primitive understanding. Absurd." But Zorax held up a hand, his eyes narrowing in thought. "We have indeed attempted both biological and technological solutions separately, but not in the manner you suggest. Perhaps there is merit in exploring unconventional approaches." Before the conversation could continue, another urgent message came through. The Omega strain had breached the quarantine around the Centauri sector. It was now on a direct path towards the heavily populated core worlds. Panic erupted in the chamber. Species that had been rivals for millennia now turned to each other in desperate pleas for help. The mighty Galactic Council, faced with a threat unlike any they had encountered, was fracturing under the pressure. In the chaos, Elena's communicator buzzed. It was a message from Earth. The UN Security Council, having been briefed on the situation, was offering full support and resources to combat the Omega strain. Humanity, despite its limited interstellar presence, was volunteering to stand with the galactic community in its time of need. Elena stood, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. "The people of Earth extend their full support and resources to combat this threat. We may be newcomers to your galaxy, but we have faced extinction-level events before. We survived, we adapted, and we overcame. We offer our unique perspective and unwavering determination to help find a solution." The chamber fell silent once more, a mix of surprise and skepticism on alien faces. Zorax studied Elena for a long moment before nodding. "Your offer is appreciated, Captain. But I fear this threat may be beyond any of our capabilities." As if to underscore his words, another alert sounded. The Omega strain had mutated again, developing a method of airborne transmission that rendered all known containment protocols obsolete. In the following weeks, the galaxy descended into chaos. Advanced civilizations that had stood for millennia began to crumble. The Galactic Council, once the pinnacle of interstellar cooperation, was reduced to a shadow of its former self as member races turned inward, desperately trying to save themselves. Elena and her team worked around the clock, coordinating with Earth and the remaining Council members. They pored over data, ran simulations, and proposed theories, all while watching helplessly as world after world fell silent. Dr. Marcus Chen burst into Elena's office, his eyes wild with a mix of fear and excitement. "Captain, we've received word from Earth. A team at the HFY has made a breakthrough. They found a way to predict the Omega strain's mutations using a combination of quantum computing and evolutionary algorithms." Elena's heart raced. "That's incredible, Marcus. But will it be enough?" Marcus shook his head. "Not on its own. But it's a start. If we can predict the mutations, we might be able to stay one step ahead, develop countermeasures before the strain adapts." As they discussed the implications of this breakthrough, a priority transmission came through from Zorax. His usually smooth features were haggard, his voice strained. "Captain Rodriguez, the Council. What's left of it? We need to talk. Your people's discovery, it's the first ray of hope we've had. We need more. We need everything you can give us." Elena straightened, feeling the weight of the moment. "Of course, Zorax. We're all in this together. But I need to know, will the Council finally see humanity as true partners? Will you work with us as equals?" There was a long pause before Zorax replied, his voice heavy with emotion. "Yes, Captain. The galaxy has changed. Old prejudices must be set aside if we are to survive. We need humanity's help, and we are prepared to offer full collaboration and share all of our resources and knowledge in return. As Elena ended the transmission, she turned to Marcus, a grim smile on her face. Well, Doctor, it looks like humanity's just been thrust onto the galactic stage in a big way. Let's show them what we're made of. Little did Elena know that this was just the beginning. The fight against the Omega strain would push humanity to its limits, forcing them to draw upon every ounce of their ingenuity, resilience, and determination. The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humans was a mistake they couldn't afford to make again. Human ingenuity emerges. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber, once a symbol of unity and progress, now served as a war room against the Omega strain. Holograms flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy, each blinking light representing another world grappling with the devastating pathogen. At the center of this storm stood Captain Elena Rodriguez, her voice steady as she addressed the assembled alien leaders. The key to our quantum prediction model lies in its ability to process vast amounts of data from multiple infected worlds simultaneously, Elena explained. By analyzing the strain's adaptations across different environments and species, we can anticipate its next moves with increasing accuracy. Zorax, his iridescent skin pale with exhaustion, leaned forward. Impressive, Captain. But how do we translate predictions into effective countermeasures? We're losing worlds faster than we can develop treatments. Dr. Marcus Chen stepped up, his eyes bright with determination. That's where our proposed nanite swarms come in. Using the predictive data, we can program these microscopic machines to target the strain's next likely mutation before it occurs. A murmur of skepticism rippled through the chamber. The energy-being counselor spoke up, its voice crackling with doubt. Nanite technology on this scale is theoretical at best. The power requirements alone would be astronomical. Elena nodded, acknowledging the concern. You're right. That's why we're not proposing to power them externally. Instead, we've designed the nanites to harness the body's own bioelectric field. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. Even Zorax looked taken aback. You're suggesting we introduce these machines into living beings. The ethical implications are considerable, yes, Elena finished for him. But consider the alternative. The Omega strain is already rewriting the biology of every creature it infects. Our nanites offer a chance to fight fire with fire. As the debate raged on, reports continued to flood in from across the galaxy. The Arcturian Empire, once spanning 1,000 star systems, had gone dark. The cybernetic Zin Collective reported that the strain had breached their firewalls, infecting even their AI cores. Amidst the grim news, a glimmer of hope emerged. The first batch of human-designed nanites, produced in collaboration with Galactic Council scientists, had shown promising results in controlled trials. It wasn't a cure, but it was the first real defense against the strain's relentless advance. Weeks turned into months as the galaxy mobilized around the human-led initiative. Elena found herself at the heart of an unprecedented cooperation between species. Aliens who had once looked down on humanity now worked tirelessly alongside human scientists, engineers, and strategists. In her rare moments of downtime, Elena couldn't help but reflect on the strange turn of events. Did you ever imagine we'd be here? She asked Marcus one evening as they looked out over the bustling research center that had sprung up around the human embassy. Marcus shook his head, a wry smile on his face. Leading the charge against a galactic pandemic. Can't say it was in my 5-year plan. But you know what's really surprising? How quickly they've come to rely on us. Elena nodded, her expression thoughtful. It's not just our technology or our science. It's our perspective, our history of overcoming adversity, of thinking outside the box. We're teaching them resilience. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert. A new mutation of the Omega strain had been detected, one that allowed it to survive in the vacuum of space. The implications were terrifying. No quarantine would be truly effective now. The following days were a blur of activity. Elena coordinated with Earth and the Council, implementing emergency protocols that had been developed for just such a scenario. Human-designed solar salamanites were deployed to create a defensive web around vulnerable systems, while modified terraforming equipment was repurposed to sterilize infected space stations and ships. It was during this crisis that humanity's adaptability truly shone. When conventional solutions failed, human engineers proposed using repurposed mining lasers to create barriers of superheated plasma, containing the spaceborne strain. The idea was so outlandish that it was almost dismissed outright, until it worked. As news of the successful containment spread, Elena found herself approached by aliens from all corners of the galaxy. Species that had once sneered at humanity now came seeking advice, eager to learn the human way of problem-solving. Zorax, in a private meeting with Elena, summed up the growing sentiment. "Your people continue to surprise us, Captain. In our arrogance, we saw your shorter lifespans and limited technology as weaknesses. We failed to recognize that they drove you to innovate, to think creatively in ways our long-lived, comfortable species had forgotten." Elena accepted the praise graciously, but her mind was already racing ahead to the next challenge. The Omega strain was contained for now, but she knew it would adapt again. Humanity had proven its worth, but the real test was yet to come. As if on cue, her communicator buzzed with a priority message from Earth. The UN Security Council, in an unprecedented move, was proposing the formation of a new organization, an interstellar rapid response team led by humans, designed to tackle galactic-scale threats. "The Omega Task Force," Elena read aloud, her heart racing with a mix of pride and trepidation. This was more than just acceptance. It was an acknowledgement of humanity's unique role in the galaxy. Zorax, reading the proposal over her shoulder, let out a sound that might have been a chuckle. "It seems, Captain Rodriguez, that the students are becoming the teachers. The Council will have much to discuss." As Elena prepared to present the proposal to the full Galactic Council, she couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive and unremarkable, was now poised to take a leading role in safeguarding the galaxy. The chamber doors opened, and Elena stepped forward, ready to usher in a new era of human-alien cooperation. The Omega strain had brought the galaxy to its knees, but in doing so, it had revealed the true strength of humanity. A strength born not of advanced technology or ancient wisdom, but of unwavering determination and the ability to rise to any challenge. As she began to speak, Elena knew that the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. The real question now was, how far could humanity go, with the resources of an entire galaxy at its disposal? The answer, she suspected, would astonish even the most optimistic among them. The reluctant alliance. The proposal for the Omega Task Force hung in the air of the Galactic Council chamber, a testament to how far humanity had come in such a short time. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood before the assembled alien representatives, her posture confident despite the weight of the moment. "Distinguished members of the Council," Elena began, her voice clear and steady. "The Omega strain has pushed us all to our limits. It has forced us to question our assumptions and to seek solutions in unexpected places. The proposed Omega Task Force represents our best chance at not just surviving this crisis, but emerging stronger and more united." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some supportive, others skeptical. The reptilian counselor, who had once mocked humanity's achievements, was the first to speak out. "While we cannot deny the unexpected contributions of humans in this crisis," he began, his scaled face contorting in what might have been reluctant admiration, "the idea of placing such a young species at the forefront of galactic defense is unprecedented." Zorax raised a hand, silencing the murmurs. "Unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. Captain Rodriguez, please elaborate on the structure and function of this task force." Elena nodded, activating a holographic display. "The Omega Task Force will be a rapid response unit, combining the best minds and technologies from across the galaxy. Its primary mission will be to identify and neutralize threats on a galactic scale before they can spread. She continued, detailing the proposed organizational structure, which would include representatives from all major galactic civilizations, but with humans in key leadership and innovation roles. As Elena spoke, she could see the shift in the room. The dismissive glances of months past were replaced by thoughtful nods and intense focus. Even those who seemed reluctant couldn't deny the effectiveness of human strategies against the Omega strain. The energy being counselor pulsed brightly, its voice resonating through the chamber. Your species has shown remarkable adaptability, Captain. But how can we be certain that humans, with their shorter lifespans and limited exposure to galactic affairs, can consistently rise to such challenges? Dr. Marcus Chen stepped forward, addressing the council for the first time. Esteemed counselors, it is precisely our shorter lifespans that drive us to act decisively. We don't have the luxury of centuries to ponder each decision. Our history is filled with examples of rapid technological advancement and social change precisely because we must make the most of the time we have. His words seemed to strike a chord, especially among the younger races represented in the council. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Zorax, his iridescent skin shimmering with what Elena had come to recognize as excitement, spoke next. The council has witnessed firsthand the effectiveness of human ingenuity. From the quantum prediction models to the nanite swarms, and even the unorthodox use of mining equipment for containment. These solutions came not from millennia of accumulated knowledge, but from fresh perspectives and daring creativity. The debate raged on for hours, with various factions arguing for and against the proposal. Elena and her team fielded questions, addressed concerns, and passionately defended the idea of a human-led task force. As the session neared its end, an unexpected voice spoke up. It was the representative of the Xin Collective, the cybernetic race whose AI cores have been infected by the Omega strain. We have analyzed the data, the Xin spokesperson said, its synthesized voice eerily calm. The probability of galactic survival increases by 37.8% with the implementation of the Omega Task Force as proposed. Logic dictates we support this initiative. A hush fell over the chamber. The Xin were known for their cold, calculating nature. Their endorsement carried significant weight. Zorax looked around the room, gauging the mood. We will now put the proposal to a vote. All in favor of establishing the Omega Task Force under human leadership, signify your agreement. One by one, holographic indicators lit up across the chamber. Some quickly, others after long moments of hesitation. Elena held her breath, counting silently. Finally, Zorax spoke again. The motion carries. The Omega Task Force is hereby established, with Captain Elena Rodriguez appointed as its first commander. The chamber erupted in a mix of cheers, reluctant applause, and quiet murmurs. Elena felt a rush of emotions, pride, excitement, and a profound sense of responsibility. As the session adjourned, Elena found herself surrounded by a mix of alien representatives. Some offered congratulations, others thinly veiled warnings about the consequences of failure. Through it all, she maintained her composure, acutely aware that the real work was just beginning. Later, in a quiet moment with Marcus, Elena allowed herself to process the magnitude of what had just happened. "We did it," she said softly. "But now we have to prove them right." Marcus nodded, his expression serious. "It's not going to be easy. We're not just fighting the Omega strain now. We're fighting centuries of preconceptions about humanity. Then we'll prove them wrong about that too," Elena said with determination. "We've come too far to falter now." As they spoke, alerts began pouring in from across the galaxy. The Omega strain had evolved again, developing a form of quantum entanglement that allowed it to spread instantaneously across vast distances. The newly formed task force would be thrust into action immediately. Elena straightened her uniform, a gesture that had become almost ritualistic in moments of crisis. "All right, Doctor. Time to show the galaxy what humans can really do." As they rushed to the command center, Elena couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From dismissed newcomers to the leaders of a galactic defense force, it was a transformation that would have seemed impossible just months ago. The reluctant alliance had been formed, born of necessity and forged in crisis. Now, with the fate of countless worlds hanging in the balance, it was up to humanity to prove that the galaxy's trust was not misplaced. The greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity in human history lay ahead, and Elena Rodriguez was determined to meet it head-on. Humanity's triumph. The command center of the Omega Task Force buzzed with frantic activity. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy, each blinking light representing another world grappling with the latest evolution of the Omega strain. At the heart of this controlled chaos stood Commander Elena Rodriguez, her eyes darting from screen to screen as she processed the flood of information. "Status report," Elena called out, her voice cutting through the noise. Dr. Marcus Chen, now serving as the task force's chief science officer, stepped forward. "The strain's quantum entanglement properties are unlike anything we've seen before, Commander. It's spreading faster than our containment protocols can keep up." Elena nodded grimly. "And our nanite swarms? They're adapting, but not fast enough," Marcus replied. "We're always one step behind." As if to underscore the direness of the situation, a priority alert flashed across the main screen. The Arcturian core worlds, home to trillions of sentient beings, had just reported their first cases of the new strain variant. Elena felt the weight of countless lives on her shoulders. The galaxy had put its trust in humanity, in her, and failure was not an option. She closed her eyes for a moment, drawing upon the resilience that had defined her species throughout history. "All right, let's think outside the box," she said, her voice steady. "If we can't beat the strain's speed, maybe we can use it against itself." The alien members of the task force looked at her quizzically. Zorax, who had joined the team as a liaison to the Galactic Council, tilted his head. "Explain, Commander." Elena began to pace, her mind racing. "The strain uses quantum entanglement to spread, right? What if we could hijack that mechanism? Instead of trying to destroy it, we infect it with our own modified nanites." Marcus's eyes widened as he caught on to her train of thought. "Use the strain as a delivery system for the cure. It's brilliant and incredibly risky." "Precisely," Elena nodded. "We'll need to modify our nanites to mimic the strain's quantum properties. Then, instead of fighting the spread, we let it happen, but on our terms." The next few days were a blur of activity. Human scientists worked alongside alien experts, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. They drew upon knowledge from across the galaxy, combining ancient alien wisdom with human ingenuity and daring. As the modified nanites were prepared for deployment, Elena addressed the task force, and by extension, the entire galaxy. Her message was broadcast across countless worlds, a rallying cry in humanity's distinctive style. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice firm and clear. "The Omega strain has pushed us to the brink, forcing us to question everything we thought we knew. But in our darkest hour, we've discovered something profound: the strength that comes from unity, from combining our diverse perspectives and abilities." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Today, we strike back, not just as humans or as individual species, but as a united galactic community. Our plan is audacious, born from the human spirit of innovation and the collective wisdom of 1,000,000 worlds. It carries great risk, but also the promise of final victory." As Elena spoke, ships from every corner of the galaxy moved into position. The modified nanites, infused with the combined scientific knowledge of countless civilizations, were ready for deployment. To every being watching this broadcast, I say this: hold fast to hope. The night may seem dark, but dawn is coming, and when it breaks, it will shine on a galaxy stronger and more united than ever before. With a nod to her team, Elena gave the command. Across the galaxy, the modified nanites were released into infected populations, For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, reports began to flood in. The nanites were working. By mimicking the strain's quantum entanglement, they were spreading just as rapidly, but instead of destruction, they brought healing. World after world reported decreasing infection rates, then full recoveries. In the command center, Elena and her team worked tirelessly, coordinating efforts and adapting strategies as new data poured in. The strain fought back, evolving rapidly, but the combined intellect of the galaxy's finest minds, spearheaded by human adaptability, stayed one step ahead. Days turned into weeks, and gradually, the tide began to turn. The blinking red lights on the galactic map, each representing an infected world, began to go dark, not in defeat, but in victory. 2 months after the deployment of the modified nanites, Elena once again stood before the Galactic Council. The chamber, once filled with skepticism and barely concealed disdain, now hummed with an energy of respect and admiration. Zorax, his iridescent skin glowing brightly, addressed the assembly. "Commander Rodriguez, you and your team have achieved what many thought impossible. The Omega strain has been defeated. On behalf of the Galactic Council, and indeed, all sentient life in our galaxy, we extend our deepest gratitude." Elena bowed her head slightly, acknowledging the praise but keenly aware of the collaborative effort that had made victory possible. "Thank you, Counselor, but this victory belongs to all of us. It was the combined strength of our galactic community that turned the tide." The energy being Counselor, once dismissive of humanity's potential, spoke next. "You speak wisely, Commander. We have all learned a valuable lesson. The diversity of life in our galaxy, which we once saw as a source of conflict, has proven to be our greatest strength." As the council meeting concluded, Elena found herself surrounded by representatives from countless worlds. Some offered thanks, others sought advice, and many simply wanted to express their newfound respect for humanity. Later, in a quiet moment with Marcus, Elena reflected on their journey. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" she asked, gazing out at the star-filled vista before them. Marcus chuckled softly. "Honestly, no. When we first arrived, I thought we'd be lucky if they let us set up a small outpost on some forgotten moon. Now look at us, the heroes of the galaxy." Elena smiled, but her expression quickly turned serious. "We can't let it go to our heads. This is just the beginning. The galaxy will be looking to us now, expecting great things. And we'll deliver," Marcus said confidently. "Not because we're inherently superior, but because we've learned the value of collaboration, of combining our human spirit with the wisdom of the stars." As they spoke, a priority message came through. The Galactic Council was proposing a new initiative, an interstellar exchange program to foster greater understanding and cooperation between species. Humanity was being asked to lead the effort. Elena read the message, a smile spreading across her face. "Well, Doctor, it looks like our next adventure is just beginning." As she prepared to respond to the council, Elena couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive and unremarkable, had proven its worth 1,000 times over. They had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known and emerged victorious, not through overwhelming force or advanced technology, but through creativity, adaptability, and an unwavering spirit of cooperation. The stars stretched out before them, no longer distant and forbidding, but full of promise and possibility. Humanity had found its place among them, not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals and innovators. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. Together, they looked to the future, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the vast, uncharted depths of space. As the first ships of the new interstellar exchange program prepared for launch, Elena knew that this was more than just a triumph over the Omega strain. It was the dawn of a new era, one where the combined strengths of all sentient beings would propel them to heights yet unimagined. Humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun, and the best was yet to come.